Good day, everyone, from me, Andre Viljoen, bringing you this week's Gateway News God Stories of Africa, a look at some of the stories that were published in Gateway News this week. Last week, some news and social media voices poked fun at Christian singer and pastor Heinz Winkler when he posted on a Somerset West community Facebook group that posters on street poles promoting a weekend sex expo should be removed immediately. The sexpo organizers also mocked Heinz's objections and brushed off an email from local ward councillors demanding removal of the signage, which featured a woman's nude bottom. They said they had council permission for their extensive street advertising campaign in the Cape Town area. But it turns out that those who spoke up against the ad campaign were in the right. In an interview with Gateway News, Rayon Smith, Executive Director of Cause for Justice and a Somerset West resident, said that a few hours after he posted a message on the local community page pointing out exactly which clause of the City of Cape Town's outdoor advertising and signage bylaw was being violated by the Sexpo advertising, city authorities posted a response to Cause for Justice's Facebook message advising that they had ordered the removal of all of the offending lamppost signs as well as trailer billboards. Rayon said that the experience illustrates that if something upsets you because it is wrong or unjust, you should not let it pass. He said there is a cost to taking a stand, such as mockery, but if we let injustices slide, someone else down the line, possibly the next generation, will pay a greater cost. At least that is my conviction, he said. Still on the theme of taking a stand, the concerned clergy of the Western Cape says in a media statement it has decided to support a call to boycott Woolworths stores during June over the company's Gay Pride campaign. Pastor Barry Isaacs, chairperson of the group, says the Christian leaders emphasize the sanctity of marriage between a man and a woman, and that Woolworths' support of the LGBTQ community conflicts with its deeply held religious convictions and compels it to support the boycott call made last week by Reverend Errol Naidu, director of the Family Policy Institute. We also posted a video clip which Andrew Selly, leader of Joshua Generation Church and the 412 Partnership of Churches, made to answer the question, how should Christians respond to Woolworths? Our job as Christians is to preach the gospel, not to judge the world or force a Christian worldview on those outside the church, he said. But he says Woolworths has put the church in a unique quandary because they have publicly said they are going to put some money into the sexual rights movement and LGBTQ plus activists who actively work against Christianity in South Africa and seek to impose a worldview on our children that we would not hold to. And now, a good news story. Tears of joy were shed by some of those gathered at the Apostolic Faith Mission of Africa branch in Pimville, Johannesburg recently to witness the handover of a brand new 68-seater bus that was purchased exclusively by church members for gospel missions in Africa. We thank God who during our times fulfilled the prophecies of our late overseers who went to glory, saying that this gospel of the kingdom of God shall be propagated in buses and aeroplanes throughout the world for a witness unto all nations, said the overseer and international president of the AFMA, Reverend Rosewill Zulu, on receiving the bus keys from Hendricks Niemand of Marco Polo. Since the founding of the AFMA in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe in the 1950s, the church has undertaken missionary trips to various African nations, with the overseer accompanying choir members. The new bus will be used to continue such gospel trips. In international news, England's National Health Service announced it will not routinely offer puberty-blocking drugs to children at gender identity clinics, saying more clinical evidence is needed about the safety, potential benefits, and harms of medical interventions. In a notice posted last Friday, the NHS officially stated that outside of a research setting, puberty-suppressing hormones should not be routinely commissioned for children and adolescents who have gender incongruence or dysphoria. It added that there isn't enough evidence to support their safety or clinical effectiveness as a routinely available treatment. The NHS issued a draft guidance in October recognizing that gender dysphoria could be a transient phase and young prepubescent children should be treated based on evidence that in most cases gender incongruence does not persist into adolescence. Now the agency has officially banned the distribution of puberty blockers except for in clinical trials. The policy will go into effect later this year. This development follows developments in Norway, Finland, and Sweden, which are halting or changing policies on gender-altering drugs and procedures for minors in an effort to safeguard children. And one of Australia's largest medical insurers is now refusing to cover private practitioners who are prescribing gender transitioning procedures. Thank you so much for watching God's Stories of Africa. Do subscribe to make sure that you never miss an episode, as well as other content on our channel. And do please share. God bless you abundantly until we meet again next week.